I haven't recorded a video in, I don't even remember. I just had the urge to record. I didn't have anything planned. I just have a bunch of ideas written down in my notes app, and if I ever feel like I forgot to put my sock on, give me a moment. I just have a bunch of ideas written down in my notes app, and these are things that I just think about so I can, just make a video on it randomly if I want to. And I think I know what I'm gonna say, but just, catching up. Ever since the last time I uploaded, I mean, forgetting about yesterday or day, did I? Yeah, yesterday. I had a class trip to UID, Ahmedabad. Um, and that's where Abhik goes. So I met him, and that's what the video was, because didn't really have time to record anything else. But it was a good trip. I liked the campus. It was great meeting him after a while. But anyways, as of now, I don't think I have felt. I have. I was gonna say I don't think I have felt worse about me or being myself. But I definitely have. But nonetheless, I'm in a pretty. I feel like I'm just in a state of limbo. I don't know how to feel about myself. I think I look stupid, ugly as shit. Especially right now, I've got so much fucking acne. It's like a fucking bindi on, like, it has to be in the middle of my eyebrows, and there's one here that I don't even think looks that bad. It does, but like it hurts so much. And that's on me or whatever. But just feel horrible. Like I don't care about. You'll be like, oh, you don't look that bad. It's not about that. It's just I just feel horrible about myself. I got my DSLR fixed after a while, like a few years at least. My sister had it, but like she doesn't use it anymore. But I got it fixed, and it's with Parth right now. He needs it for his photography course. But as soon as I get it back, I'll start recording on that. It's gonna be much better because it just is, and it's a old ass like beginner level. It's a Canon like 1500D, I think, and it sucks. But for a DSLR, just I've seen the pictures that come out of it, and they just look a certain way that I really like. It looks horrible, but like if you compare it to like a standard DSLR, it's not the best. You don't get the most control, but it doesn't matter. It's an upgrade from my fucking Handycam, which I already like the way it is, but like I don't get a lot of freedom with the color grading and all of that. But yeah, I can't wait to shoot with it once I'm back. I might even change like the place I shoot at. I'm not sure. Depends. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't gone to the gym in, I can't remember. I mean, there's no going to the gym because I don't have a membership, but like I can work out at home. I just haven't been doing that for a while. I did go on like 3 runs this month, which is good. I like that, but I wish it was more. There were definitely days I could have just gotten up and went. And there were definitely days where I couldn't have, but like, there was some days where I, like, it could have been 4 or 5. And I don't want it to use as like a metric for success or like being a good person or self-worth or whatever, but I don't know, it's just I should be pushing myself for it. I should be, because it's good for me. I like it. It's good for my stamina. It's good for just going out and getting my body moving. it feels good. And if I can't really push myself to really work out, like, it's the least I can do is go for a run because it feels so good. I would have gone today if I didn't have an online class at like 7. I'm so sure I would have. Right after recording this, I really want to go, but I can't miss the class because like I'm not. I just can't miss the class, right? Uh, and then I have another meeting at 9. But yeah, that's I guess that's me catching up. So I wanted to talk about journaling, and actually I had two different topics that I kind of want to merge into one. One of them was just about journaling, and the other one is about. I'll get to it. So for the record, I haven't journaled in like a week, maybe less. So I'm not telling you that you have to journal every day, or that you should. But let me explain to you what journaling is, and then I'll get to why you should do it, why I think you should do it in any way, right? So, okay, so your journal is this place. Think of it as a physical space, right? That's what it is. It's a book. And I mean, it can be like a notes folder for you, or like um, a voice memo folder, or whatever it is. Just like some place to actualize your thoughts. It is a physical space. Can be digital, but like, think of it as a physical space. And it is a space where it's a safe space where you are not allowed to judge, you're not allowed to externalize yourself. You just are what you are there. It's where you can be the most unhinged, horrible menace without giving a shit, right? It's your space and nobody can take that away from you, right? It's a place where you can write down, you can actualize your most unhinged, horrible, disgusting, um, just just really bad thoughts. And I say I'm specifically focusing on the negative ones because we as humans are more we have more of an opportunity to share positive thoughts in the real world than negative thoughts. We're more likely to share all the good things that we feel, all the good things that we think of with our friends, with our family, with the people around us, as compared to your negative shit. Because all of these feelings of shame, powerlessness, guilt, or just bad intent, if whatever it is, you can't really share that with people because I strongly believe that there are some thoughts that you just cannot share with anyone. Like, you cannot, like, if you have a wife, if you have someone that cannot be any closer to you, you can't share it with them as well. It's like the certain box of thoughts and the certain box of emotions and feelings, and they're meant to be only stick like with you, right? Unless, like, I think the only exception would be therapy, because then, like, if you have trouble processing those emotions and thoughts and feelings, then you can, like, that's the only option you have. But why is it so important that these negative thoughts have to get out and, like, be actualized? Because, well, I'll get to that, but that's what the definition of a journal is, where you can be anything. You're shapeless. You can be anything, whatever the hell you want, for nobody, for like boundless. Nothing is constricting you. You just say what you feel, and that's the space I think all of us need. Now let's get to the why. Before I get to why you should journal, let me talk about why these feelings need to be actualized. So it's without a doubt that everyone has these emotions that they know that they can't share with anyone. It's like you can bring me the most transparent person in the world who's like an open book or whatever, and they know that they will still have some thoughts that they just cannot share with anyone. And it's true. I just know for a fact that it's true. You can't prove me wrong about that. And these thoughts, these feelings usually get pushed down and suppressed and then just ignored, right? Now sometimes these thoughts have to be ignored or pushed down or just, forgotten, because there's no point in trying to understand their validity, right? But there are other times, and you can easily make this distinction by yourself, like intuitively, everyone can. Sometimes these thoughts cannot just be pushed down and they have to be processed. Because, and one I think one indicator is that when they start influencing your decisions, your actions, that's when you have to start realizing that, okay, I need to process this instead of just pushing it away. Now, for the most part, if you're lucky, you have a close friend, a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a family member that you can share most of these thoughts with. That, man, I feel like the grief, the guilt, the shame, the feeling of powerless, whatever it is, you can share that with someone and you can process it that way, which is great, right? Like it's just another form of journaling. Because journaling is literally just processing, and sharing your feelings with someone is processing it, because you're actualizing it, you're bringing it out into the real world instead of just keeping it something that's in your mind. And someone's hearing it, someone's communicating it, you're spilling yourself, and someone is like absorbing all of that, which is like just so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful human interactions you could ever have with someone, right? Now, lost my train of thought. Yeah, I was talking about why it's important to let these out. So some of these you can just, like, you have someone to talk to and you talk to them. Great, love that. What about the other ones that you can't? Now, the situation might be that you actually don't have anyone to share it with, which some of us do. Some of us are in that kind of situation. And sometimes it's not like you don't have anyone, it's just that these thoughts are literally so scary to you that you think people will judge you if you share them, and sometimes people will judge you. And so, like, you kind of have no choice but to just, like, keep it in. And that's where journaling plays a part. Your journal is a place where you can share and process these specific emotions that you just cannot share. And it's not because, and again, this is like a very personality based thing, because there are some people who aren't scared of being judged at all. They can just share their feelings with someone who's close to them. But there's others who are extremely insecure about how they feel, and that's just another thing they have to work out, right? For me, it's like just the way my behavior is, my personality is, that I cannot, if I'm going through something really bad, I'll probably share it once with someone really close, one or two people, and then I'll forget about it. Like, I won't forget about it, but like I won't bring it up with them ever again, because I have a fear of being recognized or being known for all the bad things that have happened to me in the eyes of these people. And though it's an irrational fear, and I can always talk to them and be like, get that reassurance, it's much more than that. It's not that I want that reassurance that, hey, you won't think of me as this sad person who's always like grieving, right? That's not my fear. It's just that I don't want that to be the person that I think of in someone else's mind. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like I have a perception of myself through other people's lenses, which, it's kind of sounds stupid, but like I have that, and it's extremely strong with the people I'm attached to. And I don't want to think, for my sake, that I am this guy in their lens, even if I'm factually not. I just don't, it creates more problems for me. So journaling is like an absolutely perfect substitute for that. I can open my book, I can pick up my pen, and I can spill myself onto those pages in any way I want, and then just let it all out. It's like, imagine your entire body, like all of your muscles, your bones, like everything is tensed up. And the more you write in that book, the more it gets relieved and it's just let out. And for me specifically, it's like some of these really intense emotions are actually really simple in the end, but I will never know that if I don't walk through them, if I don't like if I don't like it's like walking through a crowd, filtering it, right? If I don't filter through that shit, through all of the gunk around it, I won't be able to reach the core matter. And some of these emotions, which I can describe in a sentence, will sound horrifying or like just gruesome and shit, but like in the end it's just one tiny fucking phrase that's much less dramatic than whatever I'm feeling in the first place. And so that's helpful because now I'm able to separate myself, obviously, from all the things I feel. Me journaling, me separating, I'm literally separating my thoughts from myself when I'm journaling. That even though this is what I feel, I can like physically tell that okay, this is not, this is separate from me. And like you just have to remind yourself of that you are, your thoughts do not define you, right? Your feelings don't define you, and that helps. And so it's a way for me to filter. Yeah, I'm just repeating the same things. Think about some other points I can branch off to, but it's a way for me to filter my gunk and get to the the cleanest part of that gunk, which is the actual raw simple emotion. And then I can work it backwards, and then I can be like, a lot of the times what happens is me filtering through this bullshit to get to the actual subject matter allows me to reverse engineer back out of it, like go back through the gunk, and then I can literally like tell where this gunk came from. Like, so if like I have a feeling that like if I'm scared that I'm gonna fail an exam, it's gonna be like a really horrible intense emotion, right? Like intense emotion, right? Like, oh my god, if I fail, I'm gonna fucking, like, my parents are gonna hate me, they're gonna kick me out, whatever. Like that shit can reach stupid lengths for some people. But I reach to the core of that, and it's like, bro, you're having an irrational fear, which is valid. It's a fear, just keep it at that. And I reach that and I go backwards and I'm like, okay, wait, why am I afraid of my parents kicking me out? And I'll be like, oh, okay, so I'm afraid of letting my parents down. And then you take another step back and I was like, oh, wait, another part of it is me letting myself down because I've been complacent, I didn't study, I didn't do shit, it was all in my control. And then take another step back and it's like, wait, it's not about me or my parents, it's about the fucking education system that I'm placed in, that I just didn't like respect this hierarchy of like this institution, because it was meant to help me in some way. And then I take another step back and you can like detach, you can like, it's like breaking a fucking Lego set. You can build it up and you can break it down and you can see how it's made. And I mean, I'm not saying that's gonna happen with everybody because people are different, but that's helpful for me. It allows me to deconstruct my emotions. And right, so let's split it into two parts. Right, that's one major part of journaling, is just you're able to deconstruct, you're able to break down, simplify, process all of your like extremely harmful, toxic, unhinged, whatever the word you want to use, emotions. And it's to make you realize that no matter how crazy these emotions are, in the end it is human. It is like there's it's normal, right? that that you feel this way. And the issue is that here's why you need a journal for this. You're allowed to judge yourself because you're the only one interfering your emotions. If you think about it, you cannot share the same emotions with someone else and expect them to respond to it in the way you want, because they're a different human being, that they come from a different set of experiences. And so you can't always them to say all the favorable things you want to hear. So sometimes you have to be that person for yourself. And like there are some thoughts, I'm just going to be honest, there are just some thoughts that all of us have that, and I've said this before, yeah, there are some thoughts that you, if you share with people, they'll hate you. They'll be like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, that's fucking crazy. I don't want to be friends with you. But they don't know. And no matter how close you are to them, sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on the person, depending on the thoughts, they just will not get it. Because you are able to detach yourself from your thoughts better than anyone else. People think of you as as a person, right? As this single piece. People can't detach your thoughts from you for themselves. For them, whatever you say, you are, for the most part, right? Unless there's some crazy empaths that can just like read through you, which is very rare. But like even then, like you have to realize they're human too. So that's the first split. Now let's get into the other split. Now, some of you or most of you, when you heard the word journal, you probably thought of like a diary. Like remember like back in school where they used to make you write dear diary, just like a, yeah, like they used to make you write journal entries in literature, not in writing skills, right? Like write a diary entry to yourself, blah 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 blah. That's the other part of journaling that I want to talk about. So it's logging your experiences, your life, in whatever format you want. And now why is that helpful? So people, it has a different, depending on who you are, you're going to have a different benefit from it. But generally speaking, what you're doing in that place is you are actualizing again, you're bringing forth your thoughts, because your thoughts are shapeless, though they're formed as words. There's emotions, right? And there's emotions you can't describe by just thinking about it, right? You have to write it down. And the second part allows you to log your life. It allows you to track what happened today. One of the most useful things that this second part has been for me is whenever like a crazy, just a very high energy emotional event happens, both good and bad. Like if I just went to a really crazy party, which never happens, but like if something really horrifying happened, or if something, just some huge event happened that like moved you in a good or a bad way, it allows you to process through that. And again, it's just the same steps that I used in the first split, where it's like you can filter through your emotions. Why are there so many cars today? Fucking trucks. What the fuck is that? That was like a JCB and a cement mixer hybrid. Logging these events allows you to walk back through them, through your memory, and piece together your emotions. So let's say you're writing a journal entry about today. You can go from the most inconsequential, like tiny events, like today I saw a cat, and to like the most emotionally charged part of another part of that day within the same place. Now, yeah, that's basically the second part, is that you can allow yourself to walk back and get these memories written down, and then walk through them again and be like, that's what happened. That's what happened. And for me, so many times when I've done this, especially like in a voice memo, that's which is what I primarily used to do before I started writing, because I was too tired to write, and now I don't have storage, so I write now. But what I used to do is just walk through, like, just say that, oh, this happened and that happened. And in this process, I've had like epiphanies, or like this realizations that, oh my god, that's why that happened, and that's why that happened, and that's why that's gonna happen. Or just, deconstructing the situations you were in. It allows you to analyze everything that you felt and everything that happened. And that's important, because it's no longer a blur in your mind. There's clarity, and we all want clarity. And yeah, that's basically the two splits summed up. They're kind of the same, but they're different in the sense that one is strictly oriented towards logging, towards talking about your experiences in a first hand manner, that this happened and then that happened, and then that's how I felt about it. And then the other one is just, like, it's also it's actually like the next step of the first of the second split, where it's like after logging, like, sometimes these emotions brew in your mind, and they end up becoming something much larger. And that's when you can be like, okay, let me come back to this, let me see what happened all the way back then when this shit happened, and now let me come back to what I'm feeling now. Let's compare this, let's deconstruct exactly what I'm feeling. And that is what has helped me to just understand so many of my emotions on a deeper level. Just the fact that I realize that I have a perception of myself through people's lenses in my mind was crazy to me, because I'm like, damn, I'm not I'm being selfish, but in such a weird way. Like, I'm being self-centered, but in an externalized manner. And it was so new to me. Like, I had never had this. Um, I just I don't know what to call it. I just never had this pattern happen, right? That I'm looking at myself through someone else's lenses, because I'm attached to them, because I care about what they think, because their opinions or their thoughts, their perspective of me matters to me, because they're someone important. And it's even worse when, like, they're not a part of your life, especially with people I was friends with, and people that I no longer talk to. It's like, I still care about what you think of me. And it's like, no, I don't. I care about me, just the way you think about it, so that I can alter my image, so that in my mind I can be like, I can have a more positive perspective of me in your lens. It's so hard to explain. I don't think you get it. It's fine if you don't, but like, I get it, and it makes sense to me. And yeah, those are the two parts of it. I don't know how much time I have left recording. I don't know how much I recorded for, but anyways, the third thing I want to talk about, it's not exactly the third split, but like the last piece, or the last segment, is that all of this was extremely technical. you know Intense emotion, breaking it down, walking through it, filtering, blah 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 blah, all these technical words, whatever. It's important, right? But you cannot just logic your way out of depression, right? Specifically, or anxiety, or all of your negative shit. You cannot logic your way out through it. And I'm not contradicting myself, because whatever I said in the first two splits, that's I'm just portraying it in a logical manner, right? But when you actually get down to it, it's quite raw. What I'm saying is, when you're journaling, you don't think about deconstructing it. You don't think about, how am I gonna piece this back together, or how am I gonna step by step. No, 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 no. Throw all of that out of the window. You're not supposed to think about it. It happens. And the only reason it happens is because you let yourself out in a messy manner. That's the only way it's going to happen, because you cannot get clarity if you're not messy in the beginning, if it's not blurry for you. So think about all the things I said in the first and second splits, that oh, it allows you to log your emotions and process and all of that. Chuck all of those words out of the window. Keep that in the back of your mind if you want, but like forget about it. And be as messy with it as you can, because in the end, as I said, you can't logic your way out of this shit. So stop thinking about it as some big brain activity you're doing. It is as raw and natural as you crying. That's what it is. You're crying, just a bit more coherently, like in words. Because just think about the action of crying. What happens to that person? That person is like broken down. It's that person is crippled. They're like all over the place. That's what you say, right? They're like tears coming out of their eyes. They're screaming sometimes, and just the noises they make. Just think about how weird that is, how messy it is, how it's just a bunch of nothing. But like you look at it as this person crying for help. Like this person is just like oh my god, like let me give you a hug, right? So thinking about that, go back to your journal and be like, I'm gonna cry in my journal. And you don't have to literally cry, because it's I find it so frustrating for me to try to cry, because I want to cry but it just doesn't happen, right? But that's a different thing. Just think about the fact that you're gonna go home and journal, and you're gonna cry in your journal. You're going to be messy, you're gonna be screaming random things. You can do whatever the hell you want in your journal. It doesn't just have to be words and letters. It can be drawings, it can be doodling, it can be just use your creative mind and just let it all out in any way that you want. And if you go back to the beginning of this video, I talked about how there's two topics that I wanted to merge into one, and one of them was just called journaling, and the other one was that you need to give yourself time and space to think. Now, what is this about? It's about journaling, but it's more so generic. It works outside of journaling as well. And I think it has to do more with the activities that you engage in your day-to-day life. So it's just a simple but very strong reminder that I'm giving you, that you need to give yourself time and space to think. Just think about the words time and space. Now the space could be your journal, and time is time. So the reason you need to do this is because I think nowadays, and this is what I've noticed in myself, and I'm guilty of it as of now still, that I try to drown myself out in distractions as much as possible all the time. If I'm playing like a video game that doesn't require too much of my attention, I'll have my phone open and I'll start scrolling reels. Or if I'm scrolling reels but I still want to do something else because it's not enough stimulation, I'll pull up something on my laptop. Or like if I'm playing a game, I have to play music with it. Or like if I'm doing a chore, I have to play music with it. I have to play music when I'm showering. And just all of this stimuli, just something for my brain. Because and you might, like as I'm saying this, you might be relating to this and be like, oh, that happens to me as well, in your own little ways, right? Some people are addicted to their phone, some people are in their own ways, they want to drown out their inner voice. And that's harmful, because that is because you're not allowing yourself the time and the space to think. And why is it so important to think? And it's because, well, one of the things is attention span. You're fucking up your attention span by just drowning yourself out in distractions. And one of the best ways to like improve your attention span is to just give yourself time and space to think. Do nothing, like stare at a wall. That's like the first perspective shifting advice I got from a friend of mine, Abik. Why am I saying a friend of mine? Abik. And it was just stare at a wall for like an hour straight, no distractions, no, not even a nothing, and just be with your thoughts. Now, as I said, the first thing is that it improves your attention span, but the other thing is that it allows you to be closer to who you are, to understand who you are as a person, because ultimately your like your physical body is a, what's the word, it's a shell for who you are inside, right? You're an amalgamation of your experiences, your physical body, and your thoughts and your feelings and all of that. And though your thoughts and your feelings don't always define you, they're still a part of who you are, right? It's just that some of them are just separate from who you are, and some of them make who you are, right? Like your morals, your values, your love, or whatever it is, right? These certain set of emotions and feelings and thoughts that define who you are, you need to be closer to that. What I'm saying in a nutshell is you need to be more self-aware, and you cannot be more self-aware if you're drowning yourself out in distractions. And you have to realize what these distractions are. You have to be conscious about how you're spending your time. And it's not like I'm telling you never to go on reels again, or like drown out, like cut off all distractions, monk mode, all of that shit. No. But if you can, give yourself like 10 minutes. 10 minutes is easy, right? 10 minutes to sit and do nothing. Could be before you're sleeping, it could be like in the morning. It's like a form of meditation. Stare at a wall, and like don't even try to look out of the window, or like focus on something, because that's doing something. You have to be comfortable with boredom. You have to start doing nothing, and that's still doing something, but like you're doing nothing, right? You're just staring at a wall, and that's gonna help you to just get closer to who you are. It's gonna bring you back to earth. And sometimes it might freak you out. Sometimes, like for some people, if you stare at a wall for too long, they might start hallucinating or whatever. So like know your limits. Like just be aware, because that's the whole point of this, just being aware of what's going on up here. And even your physical body, because that's another part of it, your health. So many meditations revolve around focusing on like little parts of your body, and then your entire body as a whole, so you can just feel more connected to your shell, or whatever that's like your exoskeleton, whatever the word is. But yeah, that's the three main things I want to talk about. Two, but like the first thing is divided into two. So journaling, divided into two. One is to process your unhinged, your crazy emotions that you can't share with people, and the other is logging your experiences, walking through your experience backwards in your memories, so you can have a better analysis of what they were and what happened to you or what happened to someone else in that time. And the third one is to giving yourself time and space to think, because that's one of the only ways you're going to be more self-aware. And if you think about it, journaling is a way to do that. Journaling is a way to give yourself time and space to think, but the difference is that when you're journaling, you're still doing something. Journaling is still a form of stimuli. It's just good stimuli. It just doesn't fuck you up. What I'm saying is do nothing at all. No pen and paper. And if it's too hard for you, maybe start with pen and paper, right? And if you want to go like super easy mode, then like go on a walk. Yeah, there you go. My battery's about to die. Go on a walk, but no music. Just go on a walk, observe everything around you, and come back. Be silent. But yeah, those are the three things. Journal. Two things. Journal and give yourself time and space to think. And if you don't want to do any of this shit, then I don't even know why you're listening up until this point. Because I know I'm not going to do like half of these things, except for the journaling part. I like journaling, but just tolerating my boredom is something I'm still learning to do, and I suck at it. I suck ass. So why are you even taking this advice from me? Because I know I'm right about it. I'm just not doing it, right? and that might take away like 90% of the credibility from the argument. But like, if you don't want to take the advice, don't take it. Maybe if I come back to you when I'm feeling better about myself and my face is cleared up, when like I'm more jacked, which I'm not right now, when I have like a better haircut, when I like feel more better about myself, and then I'm doing all of these things that I'm talking about, that's when you might want to listen to me. So maybe I'll re-record when I'm feeling better about myself, but I don't give a fuck.